You know what I mean?
Honestly, this is what I think. I don't think police officers are bad people at heart. I think it's a systemic problem. It's the system they're in, right?
That protects them.
Yeah. So the system they're in is just, it doesn't give to. So the difference between a police force and an occupying force, an occupying force does not feel like they have to follow the laws of the land. So if we're in Afghanistan and we're in Iraq, do you think we're double parking our Humvee? Do you think we're staying within the yellow lines? Or do you think if we have to swerve, we're swerving over? There's no rule of law. So an occupying force will not follow the laws of the land. The police in Chicago do not follow the laws of the land. So they're no longer a police force. Now they're an occupying force. I have videos where the police cars parked on the sidewalk, not perpendicular to the sidewalk, not coming out of a restaurant and just over that part of the sidewalk before you get to the street, parallel to the sidewalk. If they started driving, they'd be driving down the sidewalk. So throughout history, there's been an ideology. And this ideology, when we look back, the people that practice this ideology have been on the wrong side of history. That is, you cannot enforce laws that you yourself do not obey. You have no right to enforce laws that you yourself do not obey. The people that have practiced that have been on the wrong side of history. The people that haven't, so the people that have said, you know what, it's not right that we have people enforcing laws that they themselves do not obey. Those people have been on the right side of history. When we look back, the people that haven't done that have been on the wrong side of history. And talking about psychologists, there's a psychologist, famous psychologist by the name of Abraham Maslow, right? And one of his most famous sayings is, I guess if all you have is a hammer, you'll look at every problem like a nail. What that means is, if on your belt you have a gun, a taser, a pair of handcuffs, like everything on your belt is force. So if all you do is settle every problem with forces, that's how you look at it. Everything you see, you're going to produce force onto it. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
like
that's such a good point. Yeah. Uh-huh.
The way you look at things, if all you have is a hammer, every problem's a nail. So whether it's a nail or not, just how you look at things. Since so we used to call, in this country, police officers, they used to be called public servants. They're not called public servants anymore. Yeah. They're called law enforcement. So what's the difference between that? That's a slight difference, but what's the difference? Public servant, you're there to serve the public, to make sure that their rights are not impeded on, that their rights aren't held. You're there to protect them. Law enforcement, you're there to enforce laws upon them. So it's kind of like the carrot and the stick philosophy. How do you change behavior? A carrot, you give a carrot to reinforce good behavior. You give a stick to punish bad behavior. So if somebody gets an A on the report cards, their parents might give them $10. Somebody gets an F, they might get grounded. Mm-hmm. Both of them are trying to change the behavior. One of them is punishing them, one's rewarding them. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.